Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 300th mod stream in a row. We made it to 300. Can you believe it? That means that there's only 65 more days till we make it to a year. That's pretty epic. So, number 300. Welcome. Don't mind my comments. Veeq has just discovered some epic Batman stuff. I encourage you guys to check out that playthrough at some point. It's a doozy, is what it is. Alright, so we got some housekeeping to get over. Apparently, iQuare boiled down the Overlord issues that we were having to the data rewrites of the Basilisk. So that's epic. And, actually, it might be data rewrites of not just the Basilisk, but also the Uraj. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and comment those out, and we're going to see what happens there. I'm hoping that the housekeeping section for this particular stream will be resolved. Oh, it looks like maybe he actually fixed it. Just a few moments ago. I'll go ahead and build the plugin. We've already built this one. I will not be doing any hooks today, just because I need to focus very heavily on AI today. I'm going to be taking the existing stuff. I think the first thing that I really ought to do is rewrite build orders. But after that, like, hopefully that doesn't take too long. We can get some functioning build orders. We can do some tests. I would like to also start taking the preprocessor stuff and actually implementing it. So stuff like the production quantity stuff that we have here. I think that would be good. Not really sure what other functions I would throw in here, but I was thinking of, I think I said at some point, something to the effect of, like, Firebats needing the add-on or something, and how that was somehow different than the unit that I was doing before. I mean, it didn't end up being that different because I just swapped it so that the unit source was the gallery, and so we would base the number of attack adds or whatever, because it is attack adding. The question is whether or not we also wanted to do like a Q relative thing or a Q thing. In which case, obviously, at that point, we would have to change this up, and we would have to have a separate call block for attack add-on. So this would be like attack add, the quintessential one that assumes it's just a unit trained from a factory. And then we would have to have attack add-on where unit type, well, yeah, that's fine. Unit source is the main structure, unit rec is the requirement, but it would be like unit factor or unit relative or unit, well, I guess we could just have it be unit add-on. That would be like the structure that we would be adding relative to. So if we're or queuing relative to or whatever. Like we don't really need to worry about attack add relative in this case. We don't even really need to worry about Q relative in this case, but we would be using Q, and we would have to factor in and implement stuff like, oh, here's the unit type, here's all these different things. So suffice it to say, it will definitely end up being something that we explore later on today. I intend to spend a good amount of time working with that sort of thing. So. I don't even know what Firegraph plugins do. I'm not pushing that button. It might kill me. All right. Can we move our overlords? No. So now we will try with data rewrite disabled. Yeah, now they work fine. And what do they cost? No supply. Perfect. Not 52 supply. No supply. Okay, so it is something related to data rewrite. Hopefully that can be resolved before Fraud Night kicks off. I think that was the only thing that I was messing around with. I know as far as bug testing is concerned, we should probably morph a bunch of these units into Iroleths. So we actually lose the supply that we had. So hold on. We start out at 394. We drop to 298. And we go back to 394. That's probably... Oh, these are still single entity? Huh. What I don't understand is, like, something seems wrong here because these are supposed to supply... Well, Ireless are supplying 8 somehow, but... As you can see, these are supposed to supply 16. So I'm not actually sure what's up with that. Let's jump in to the ARR. I actually don't remember what unit ID Ireleth even is. $222. All right, so we can set their supply provided to 12. Oh. Did I just... No, that's right. So why isn't it working? Let me do another quick test before I yell at iQuery about that, because I actually don't know what that could be the cause of. Okay, now I have 406. So we go down to 302. I should have... Wait. Hold on. So, we do the math here. From 382, I should be getting 12 per Iroleth for a total of 36, which should bring it up to 388 plus 30. So, 398, 408, 418. Nope, still 406. Whereas if I spawn an Iroleth, I should go from 406 to 418. So for some reason, when they hatch, they are not provided with the right supply. Okay. So we've spotted another bug, but it's way better than supply overflowing and us having a million supply. I actually wanted to test out. There was something fucked up where you'd like morph a Mutalisk into a Gorgoleth and suddenly you would have a million units. I actually dropped a unit there. And then I gained one. Hold on. Weird that you lose a unit. Like, it doesn't count the Gorgoleth egg as a unit, but if I morph to Guardian, it doesn't... Oh, it also drops there. Okay. Never mind, then. The important thing is I don't have 10,367,455 million units, so that's what I care about. Now, there is one other thing that I will do real quick, which is associated with the egg IDs. I can find them all. So the Othsteleth egg is 95. And so its supply provided should be 12 because that's what the Irilith provided. And then the Irilith egg is 193. And its supply provided should be 8 because that's what the Overlord provided. So I think when I did that, now that I have done that, rather, it should be okay. So let's hope that it works. So again, I'm taking this Overlord. My supply count should not change. It still does? All right. So... I feel like we've done most of what we can. I mean, honestly, the egg stuff is probably not super reasonable to look at here. Wait, what do we actually need? That's a crash from Mayland, I think. I think that's the guy's name. Or gal. Whatever. Zer, Z, Zim. The only chance that that crash is even still valid in the current version is I didn't fix some tooltip. But I think that's it. I will quickly run in here and check Sunken Colony. Well, it's even worse now. It just attacks twice, so... that's probably an A's, if I had to guess. That ain't it. Now I've got to find the weapon ID. It's gonna be so useless. No, it wasn't as useless as I thought. Maybe that's in GPTP instead. Okay. I think that was what was happening is the weapon damage one was just reducing the damage. The this one is the code responsible for actually firing the second weapon, so that's why that happened. So we've resolved that. I'm assuming. Obviously, I will test. Though significantly reducing the Sunken Colony's damage and making that a default behavior, that it attacks like up to 69 targets or something, or just 2 even, actually could be interesting. But I don't know. Hell yeah, Alexander, thank you. Congrats on watching me 300 times, I guess. I don't know. All right, so I think we've resolved a lot of the stuff that... yeah, I think we got a lot of the stuff that we were dealing with, or that was reported. Do I dare attempt to watch AI fight? I wonder if the changes to the Zerg fucking supply limit will fix their stupid behavior. Probably not, but a man can dream, you know? Because this Zerg is what I was working on last time I was actually testing AI, and they were so dumb. Well, they actually sent out an attack, which is incredible. I've never seen that before. Wait, hold on. What's going on here? What's happening? They have units on the map? They killed some zealots? They actually defeated Teal's first attack? That's not allowed. Oh. Executed. Hey, wake up. Hey, you're disappointing me again, dude. Holy Marine. Denied the expansion. Fucking destroyed. Alright, there we go. He woke up. Thank goodness. Dude, look at this Ahmed, man. I like this guy. Fuck him up, dude. Hi. We are here to give you kisses. Destruction. This is partially due to goofy ass fucking build orders, obviously, but meanwhile, what's been going on over here, huh? Hatch time? Hatch time. Holy hatch time. Depends on which Zerg problem you're talking about. So the problem that we had over here was that the AI wouldn't defend themselves very intelligently. But I mean, in this cursory glance that I'm looking at, things seem okay, I guess. Ah, Shaman, dude. Shaman status operational. Unlike the AI. Oh, check this out. Fuck this missile turret. Weak ass piece of shit. Meanwhile, the Zerg is just spinning. It's got no one drone over there, by the way. Yeah. The hatch spam is crazy to me. I don't know why they build so many hatcheries. But as long as they use them, I guess I don't really care. Definitely remained on tier 1 way too long, though. These guys have an NG bay, at least. I'm glad this Shaman is healing himself. I should change the petty officer string. Oh, yeah. That's fixed. By fixed, I mean currently I have to disable the Basilisk and Vorvaling unit responses for it, which sounds really insane, I know. It is. But we actually should have that resolved more completely in the near future. Alright, let's watch the Zergling fight. What a mess. Hey, we fixed Sunkens too. Brutality. Oh, we can almost get to the point where we have functioning AI. All right, well, I actually think that since we watched that and we didn't have a crash or anything, we might have stabilized stuff. Yeah, so basically, I'll give a brief explanation in more depth because I don't really think I did earlier. So, iQuire found out that the data array of unit ID, of the unit ID structure or whatever, the data array itself of that unit ID structure has a length of 228. And apparently that is completely incorrect. Sound arrays, for example, have a much smaller length of 106, and sound arrays are part of the unit ID thing. Now, sound arrays were what we decided to patch out and rewrite to make them become, to give the, like, Vorvaling and Basilisk actual sounds. Well, when we did that, it caused the issue. And there was pretty much no way of knowing that it was that caused the issue, because, like, who the fuck is going to click on Overlords when they're trying to test whether or not Vorvalings and Basilisks have sounds? So that's what we got destroyed by. Right now, that's commented out, as you can see in here. Hopefully, iQuire can fix that particular issue and re-enable... Well, I'll re-enable the functionality once that issue is fixed, if it's possible to fix before the end. Otherwise, you'll just have to deal with rather strange unit responses for the Vorvaling and Basilisk. Because, of course, I can't set that stuff in PyDat. I have to do it through data rewrites. But the you know, the other way around, right, is suffering from insane bugs like the Overlord costing 52 supply and crashing when you try to move it. So I think there's a clear choice to be made here. What's up, Veeq? All right, so I am going to take a very quick break. And when I return from that very quick break, I'll be working on some AI, be really trying to get some build orders done, and then after that, trying to get some good functions taken care of. I actually am really excited about the preprocessor functions real quick before I go to that BRB. I'm really excited about the preprocessor stuff because I can essentially create these functions. And then, for example, Kian was responsible for doing some builds before. And Kian can now come in, or anybody, Veeq, fucking whoever wants to, they can come in and they can take a look at all of these, like the functions that I'll write, and the function, maybe they'll write their own functions or whatever. But just into the terms of like taking these, right? They can then go into the Zerg build and they can say, I want to make a build that primarily attacks with this. And they can write all that shit into the build order, and then they can like, they can probably define, like we might even be able to get it into a situation where we can, don't say pinky, we can like define certain things. Like here's a set of units that the AI will use for attacks. And like you might even be able to make something like that like defines a list that you can even use within the Melee AI or something. I don't know how crazy we can get with it, but ultimately I would really like to be able to like to basically have the AI like decide, I'm going to pick from an array of this unit, or like a list of these unit IDs. I'm going to pick those for my attack forces. And the user in the build order defines the unit IDs. Like Marine, Firebat, Medic would be a very basic one against Zerg. But then if you want to go against Protoss, you might do Marine, Cyprian Medic, or Marine, Cyprian Shaman, or something like that. You might go a little bit heavier. You might try like, here's what I do at tier 1, and here's what I do at tier 2, and like I don't know how modular we could make it, but if we could make it so that all the end user has to do to get like a functioning bare bones script would be to define all that stuff. That could be really cool. Yeah, the Pi AI limit is 1 sec. So it used to be 65 kilobytes. A's commands and go-to are not limited. So only vanilla commands, and including return and stuff, are limited to the 65 kilobytes, which is why mine is bigger than that. So that's where that comes from. I don't know if this means... I mean, we are using mostly custom commands, like we'll be using Q, we'll be using... like, I guess if we wanted to, we could use attack rand instead of attack add and just have the random thing be 1-1 or 32-32 or something. If we wanted to make it so that we were always using A's commands, if we really had to, that would probably be fine, I think. So, I guess build would be no good, but yeah, that's true too. If there's anything that we need, we can do that. I still have to document the new shit from iQuare at some point, but I think if we just build A's on release, I think it'll be fine. But we also have some insane issues with A's. Probably we have not discovered yet, if I had to guess. So. But anyway, what I would like to be able to do is define some sort of situation where, like, you're basically telling the AI what units it can use for like attacks and defense. I don't know. There's got to be some way where we can basically have the AI say, I want to use, like first you define its personality. So I want to have mostly skirmishers, like mostly melee units, or a heavy presence of melee units and a light presence of ranged units, or a medium presence of melee units and a medium presence of air units, or something like that. If we could define some sort of ratio somehow, I feel like this is probably in the realm of actual new commands rather than something we could do with a preprocessor, but something where you could basically increase and decrease the priority of, or the quantity, percentage of certain kinds of units, and then define what constitutes as that kind of unit. So if you define Zerglings and Vorvelings as skirmishers, but not Ultralisks, then the AI won't prefer Ultralisks, right? Or if you define only Ultralisks as skirmishers, then the AI will only go Ultras or something like that. I don't know exactly how that would work. Because again, we would probably want to also do something with like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, maybe have some sort of thing like in the build order itself, instead of jumping to build Swarm Finn or build Personality Finn. It would jump to like that. It would jump to like some sort of tech-based thing that it would loop through. It would be like its own loop, and it would be like build Congo tech, and then it would be like bring 13 EX. I guess we would say like note weight 12, no towns. Overlord Iris, build Congo tech, and then we would do like call build Congo tech 2, you know, tier 2, something like that. I don't know exactly how we would structure it, but we could do something in that realm is what I'm getting at. Like something where we don't have to worry about like one game rule given to the AI to spam Zerglings, and then we never tell them to do anything else, so they just forever spam Zerglings. That would obviously be pretty bad for attacks in the later tiers. But once you get to those later tiers, that's when you add Nathricors, that's when you add whatever. Something like that could definitely be useful. But not 100% sure how we would go about that. Anyway, for the immediate future, I just want to tighten up the build orders, get the situations taken care of, start exporting stuff with the with regards to the preprocessor. I would like to do that, and start like playing around with how to make something that works dynamically in that respect. And yeah, looking forward to that. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do some AI. Ugh. Hi. Hold on, they can't hear you yet. Okay, now they can. Say hi again.
Hi.
What's up, dude?
Good. I just thought about adding some new commands. So we'll have ifs, and we'll have for eaches for arrays. I think arrays could be useful.
Well,
And
ifs
I
will
really
definitely be useful. How are you going to end up doing that? Like, how
that's
will they
pretty
be?
simple.
How will they be used?
Like it will parse. It will have 3 arguments, and the second one will be the operator. So it will be similar to C++'s ones, or I guess Rust ones, because they won't have parentheses because of the parser.
Oh, you're actually going to be adding them to A's? Or are you adding them to the preprocessor?
No, to preprocessor.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, that shit's magic to me,
the syntax will be similar to Rust because you won't actually write parentheses.
Right. All right. I'm starting the process of retooling the builds. I'm looking at them here. And the thing is, not really sure what will be required of the... Wow, this is a 9 hatch. This is a super early expansion. So, not sure if that makes sense to do or not, but okay. So this is a quick hatch, quick gas. I think we would definitely want to move this back. So we want, anytime I see a layer request, I'm going to go for replacing that with an overlord iris. It's a pretty quick second gas, though. I don't know if that's proper or not. Gotta stop control S-ing SMH. Okay, that should work better. I actually think, now that I'm thinking about this sort of thing, it's probably fine to just tell the AI, generally speaking, whenever I see a layer, it should just set it to Overlord Iris. I don't see why not. And then I think your oh wow, that's pretty funny. All right. So after you're done with your preprocessor commands, do you have any particular plans?
Not really. I guess I can help you with AI or something. I don't know.
Well, that would be pretty epic. But at the rate I'm going, the build orders at least should be pretty easy to resolve. No. Wait, is that real? Some wacky shit right there. Uh, okay there, Connor. I don't know what kind of build that is, but... So yeah, I actually think that the approach where we are having the AI, like, well, not the AI specifically, but Zerg in general, have this power now where they can go for uh, very different strategies than they used to be able to. They can go like Hydra first or Spire first, but they also have the ability to build static defense from the get-go. So I actually think you could go for like a defensive oriented build. I might try that for one of the air builds. Make it so that the AI like builds uh, early gas and then like 2 sunkens and then a spire or something. I think that could be kind of neat. Like early gas, expansion, 1 sunken at each base, and Aspire. I think that would actually work out pretty well. But I would have to see what the timing is like. The swarm ones are like the ones that, well, I guess the general ones too, but most of these did not change very much at all. I'll probably go back over the general ones. At least one of them should probably start Hydra first or something instead of Zergling. But maybe it's fine. All right, on the last of the Zerg. Oops. All right, I think we're pretty good here. I think this would actually fuck with the AI. If they queue it before the second spire is finished, they might just add it to the... Oh, I don't even think you can add it to the queue there, so maybe not. Why did Starcraft 2 and Warcraft 3 allow you to queue upgrades in the first place? What kind of lunatic decision making was that? I mean, I guess.
That's a new trap, though.
I know. I guess it's okay because it isn't noob trap, and I don't. It's just the idea that like people thought that that was going to be a good quality of life change to the game is insane to me.
I mean, sometimes if you have like 10 seconds before upgrade finishes, you will want to queue so you can spend the APM when you
Yeah,
actually need to.
I don't really have an argument against it on a practical level, but just the idea that like I know the vast majority of people who use it just used it because they were like, "Oh, I'll just queue all 4 upgrades at the same time." Just makes me sick. All right, well, in theory, Zerg working better now, so guess we'll go ahead and okay. Oh, by the way, one thing that we should probably do at some point, the preprocessor requires includes to be in a PyMS folder. Is that something we can change so that we can specify a directory or include a different directory?
You can, in theory, specify an absolute directory, but it's meant to be used from the folder.
Right.
Because
well, the issue that I'm
it's
having is that I'm
universal.
going to be including all of the preprocessor stuff in the AI repo for people to look at, like in the repo and under the AI folder for people to look at, but they won't be able to use it unless they move their shit to a specific folder.
Yes, but if you change it to your absolute path, then it's unusable on any other computer anyway, so
Right,
it's the
yeah.
most,
I
like,
wasn't sure if there
universal
was a
thing
way that
you
you could
can do.
change the actual Pathfinder part or whatever so that it would, like, well, I guess you would have to, like, include a root or something. So, like, basically my thought process is if you have a fold. Oh no, because you're actually pre-processing it from PyAI. So yeah, I guess I'll just have to include like a note or something that says, "Hey, move the preprocessor folder into, or move the HYDRA preprocessor folder into the PyMS Veeq scripts folder or something." And then I can just include it that way. So I was just trying to think of like, it's a ways off now, but trying to think of how I could provide that kind of info to people. Well, these guys definitely feel like they've... I wasn't really keeping track of the time before, but... Oh. Fuck those zealots. Oh! Hold on, by the way. I do like the adrenal part of Zerglings, where the longer they stick to the same target, the more DPS they have. I think that actually works really well with their thematic. Excellent decision making from the AI. Yeah, like that zealot there took way more damage than he would have otherwise. Hi. I like how the trickle in of men is still apparent. Hello? man. How embarrassing. It's okay once we get that. Oh wait, I could actually implement that kiting stuff now that I think about it. But it would probably not work out very well. He's going for another expansion. He's losing his fucking portal pawn for now. Yeah, this is where he's being a retard again. I don't know why. It takes so long to tell his units to defend. He's got so many units over here and they're just spinning. And there's no real explanation for why. Get blinded either. He's now going to trickle his units in. Oh, suddenly. Oh, man. I like how he immediately queues a million drones for some reason. We have a spawning pool. Spawning pool if needed. If. Fuck that larva. Holy. What's going on over here? Wow, they brought the fucking fire beds today, boys. Oh, Queens! I love the AI smacking its own units in the head. Holy broodling. Oh shit, this AI somehow built 1,000,000 hatcheries. Dude, what the fuck is... What is going on? This guy built 1,000,000 hatcheries, but not a single other unit. Still doesn't even have a spawning pool. What the fuck? Help? Wait, he must have a spawning pool somewhere. Oh, it's over here. Never mind. False alarm. Yeah, dude, the shamans are in town now, motherfucker. Nice broodlings. There's 3 broodlings up here. Oh, and I got destroyed.
Yeah, it looks like the math library I'm using is actually also supporting bitwise stuff, logical stuff. So I guess what I can even do is to work with complex expressions. What happened?
There's 1,000,000. They just keep broodlinging. They just don't stop.
I'm proud.
Meanwhile, bye. The shaman attack graphic is a little large for what it really should be. It's okay, this guy's got 1,000,000 zerglings. I'm sure he'll eventually try to use them. Bye. Oh, look, there's gridlings over here, too. I will say it's pretty impressive to me that the this Zerg player seems to have kept up with his allies' upgrades. So this guy knows what's up. Meanwhile, this dude got fucking his head caved in earlier. He's somehow still living. I don't know how. Oh, okay, bye. Oh boy. Oh dear. Check that out. All right. Not the best showing from the Zerg players just yet, but I have a feeling. I mean, one of them is literally called Congo Todd God, so he's probably just stupid. That probably has something to do with it. I wonder if the player combat stuff broke again. I guess I can do this. Because I am a little perplexed by why that happens. I'm also really not sure why they spam hatcheries like nobody's fucking business. I guess in some ways they may not have ever... they may never have actually cleared the requests. That's probably likely. So every so often it'll message me that it's cleared. It clears itself every... I don't even know how many, 240? Oh no, 36. I guess we should just have some kind of information that allows us to know when there's enemy units sighted near or in the AI's town regions. But yeah, this is insane. So I'll debug this next. Enjoy the burrow sounds. Oh, this guy's getting destroyed. I should have tested with only one Zerg, I guess. Hi. Got enough battery? Destroyed. All right. Problem is, I don't know how to, like, if I recreate that system, maybe it'll work out. My main concern is that, okay, I'll set this guy to, this purple AI will be Terran instead of what they are right now. But not sure that that will really lead to the same result. I guess I could have just removed them too. Where's the fun in that? Okay, this is much more reasonable. Oh, I'm also noticing, though, that it's not really working. This is supposed to wait either until it's true or for 30 seconds. And it's very clearly not the case that any players, any unit, is attacking current players' buildings, drone, larva, or larva egg. So this seems bugged. Because after, that's when we get this. It's like, instead it's happening every 240 frames, which is what we have here. So this whole thing is not being checked correctly? But it's the same conditional over here besides it being false. Hold on, I gotta look at the documentation again because I've confused myself. Oh, I just realized that. These should be There we go. It's much more readable. So combat between any units owned by foes and force 1 anywhere location. Yeah. So in this case, wait. Hold on. If conditions are met before this timer expires, script will immediately progress. Yeah, so if it's true, before this timer expires, it should immediately progress. Whereas if it's false, it should immediately go through. So somehow, it's this is always returning true? Because it's immediately passing through this, but waiting for 240 frames. Wowee, that's confusing. So just for the fuck of it, I will go ahead and save that there. I mean, I guess it's possible instead that if I scroll down to find the defense stuff. It's way higher up. No, it is here. I don't know, dude. That's really weird. Oh, why do I keep doing that? What a mess. No wonder I couldn't figure out what the fuck was wrong with the AI. Although this doesn't really seem to have changed it, but it's also not working as intended, so not much of a surprise. I guess it's time to get rid of all of the dead upgrade code. Oh, I've got to upgrade or change this stuff up too. I guess in this case we would actually want to wait for the presence of a spire. Yeah, it's pretty destabilizing for the AI since they never actually run the stuff that I designed for them, unfortunately. Yeah, no kidding. So in order to fix the data rewrite stuff, you actually have to design a unit ID extender? Or a fake one, like you were saying? It seems really insane that just to fix that one thing. Why is it like this? I forgot island check was actually in the game. That's pretty insane. What? Yeah, what are critter routes anyway? What the fuck? But hey, man, I don't blame you. And it's supposed to be deliverance time, and I'm working on Hydra. So, you know. I'm also burning every plant in Gotham. We all have questionable time management decisions. I honestly don't see anything truly.
By the way, could you also, when you have some free time, add the preprocessor keywords to the highlighter?
Yeah, one sec. Alright, so that fixes the air upgrades. That's a pretty big deal. Oh, okay, cool. Well, at least it's an actual implementation of like a mechanic or something. It's not useless if you're actually implementing stuff. And hey, look on the bright side. I mean, you've decided to give me a lot of your time for stuff like all of these Hydra bugs and fixes. But I mean, at some point, we're gonna be doing all this. Like, we're gonna be done with all the AI shit and all of the additions, right? The gameplay changes. So it feels crazy right now. It feels like there's so many bugs to fix, so many units to implement, but we actually only have 2 Zerg, 2 Protoss, 1 Terran unit. We have 5 units left to implement. And I mean that can't happen until the flinging extender, but that had to happen for everybody anyway, so we're pretty close to being done working on Hydra, to be honest. We might even be done working on Hydra's additions by the end of this week. And then it'll just be polish and like I guess the stasis changes, the defensive matrix changes, stuff like that, but nothing crazy. Well, we need to actually like build a renderer, make sure that we're interacting with that stuff, like start working on that. But once we have like a basic test map to walk around in, we can start working on like things like terrain, height, stuff like that.
What do you mean by a renderer?
Well, Icar's asking about what we're actually going to be doing, the first couple steps for the new engine. I just mean like we need to get to the point where we can render stuff on screen and actually show shit. We can't interact with any system and test anything until we can see it. So
right, that's not hard though with SDL. So
yeah,
we will have to actually establish some tiles format and like I don't know UI format or something. Probably just PNGs or something. You know.
yeah, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of things that we would be able to do. Sounded like you finished talking, but maybe you just got destroyed. But you said something about PNGs and figuring out a file format, basically.
Yeah, I just stopped talking and it destroyed us. So
yeah. Well, I guess it's very clear that the Discord overlords are not impressed with your plan. Okay, so sorry,
Probably.
you're fucked. But I actually think that that's pretty reasonable. I do think that pathfinding is something we should spend a lot of time on, but aside from that, we also need to we actually need to figure out our data structure and stuff. There's a lot of big steps that have to be taken. And there was a bit of a discussion earlier in Special Bus yesterday where, you know, various people were talking about how goofy it would be to make our own engine, but I think it's the safest option considering what else we're going to be dealing with. Like if we try to use Spring and any of these other engines that people keep suggesting, we're just gonna have to deal with all their lard code and all their stupidity. A lot of them are open source, but I don't think they're worth doing anything other than
Spring
comparing
is
notes.
3D, so I wouldn't touch it.
I think it can support 2D from what people were saying, but yeah, I'm not interested in it myself. I want to forget about Rust. Yeah, no kidding. Hey, with new engine, you'll be able to explore more themes of their units and mechanics. Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, like I was talking about in that creative limitations video that I put out a while ago, the Dadka most recent one. I was talking about how it's absurd that you have so many different things that you have to deal with in order to even get into the headspace of thinking about what unit you can make. There's so many things that stop you from even thinking in a headspace that would allow you to make some interesting decisions potentially. You just can't think about that stuff in StarCraft's environment. Pretty unfortunate. I'm going to update these Protoss build orders, and they're going to be even more unstoppable than ever, so bye. My scripts are a disaster. Today we tried Battle of Miners of the Confederacy. Idiot has defeated other idiot. But I haven't even edited text miners yet. I like the idea of idiot defeating other idiot. That's basically how I feel when I see like two Zergs fighting each other in Hydra. Just complete idiots, and somehow one of them is winning. Yeah, if you want to DM me it at some point, I can take a look at it. I'm gonna finish changing these Protoss build orders real quick. Alright, so we have Forge Fast Expand, by the way. Well, We certainly don't need the forge part of that. I'm assuming that whatever Reaver build is here probably doesn't have the simulacrum stuff set up yet. On a simulator gateway. Wait, what even is this? Oh, it's a Nexus Fest expand. Okay. Synthetic Synod, by the way. Automaton register. I don't remember what it was. Two-gate robo, by the way. Alright, that should work in theory. Alright, let's take a look here. Oh, is this part of your toolbox thing? Unit setup? Cyborg. I don't know how satisfactory their current expansion timings are for you, but I would suggest lowering the amount that you wait for, because you want them to actually try to save up the money for the structure, and they won't do that if they don't get the request. So time to get arrested. Shock cannon. You might try dropping your general structure, your non-production structure priorities by like 10 or 20. See if that resolves any issues. I don't know. I usually have my static defense at around the same priority as the tech structures, and then anything that is like really vital tech, or if it's a production structure, it goes higher up, like 10 or 20 higher. But then you have that worker queue thing going on. Which I'm not familiar with. Nemesis. So what exactly are the issues, specifically? Holy attack rand. Besides the priority thing and the expansion timing stuff, I don't actually know what to suggest offhand. Oh. Where does this stuff get? Oh, okay. Well, you're not quick attacking, so that you're always waiting for them to time out, right? I would just say that your relatives, your attack. Yeah, I don't know. Your attack relatives seem kind of low most of the time. I guess our nemesis, are they like fighters or something? I mean, they're identical in small versus large. There's actually appears to be no changes here besides you have some attack adds and attack rans that are down here that are different. It could also just be that they don't have sufficient resources, though. I don't know how much these units cost, and I don't know how much money the AI actually has. So they might simply not have enough money to add these, certain number of units or whatever. My guess would be money problems. Especially if they're spamming infantry. It's probably a money thing. They might need more expansions. They might need a higher gas multiplier than a mineral multiplier, which I've considered as well, but would be pretty cheap. So I don't know. Unfortunately, there's not really a good way to make the AI super efficient with its units, but I guess when kiting comes out, that'll be less of a problem. Yeah, I mean, in that case, then they probably should just spam mineral only or more mineral costly units. And you might be able to address this with a unit balance change where the nemesis costs less money or like more minerals than gas. Maybe like it could be 125 minerals and 25 gas or something. I don't know. Or they just spam out vultures or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say kiting will definitely need to be improved. I was thinking about deploying kiting in HYDRA today, but I don't know. I don't actually know how well it performs with an actual AI. Like, does the AI actually tell the unit to go do something afterwards? I mean, it's spamming like debug messages right now, but they might not have enough production structures. You might need to increase the relatives so that they don't, like, they scale up better from a smaller amount. Or what you could do is you could always attack at a certain base and then attack add relative on top of that and keep the relatives where they are, but have a larger base attack force. And then I would also tell you to skip the rans because that introduces a lot of variance. But oh, recently you disabled them? Oh, speaking of correct overlay, Hierophant overlay is still fucked. And I imagine all of the overlays besides Maelstrom are still fucked.
Thoughts in chaos. Yes.
Oh.
Thoughts in chaos.
Wait. Apparently I'm not, I don't actually have the malediction.
I'm waiting.
Or it just doesn't, I don't know.
I'm waiting.
Oh, it does slow them, it just doesn't apply the right over.
Hail, light the way. Hail, it is done.
Why is he yellow?
Henceforth,
He's gold.
lead on.
He's pissing on you.
Henceforth, light the way.
Be of service? Oh, at last. I thought this was my way. I
Wield by your will.
thought this was my way.
Hail. Henceforth, lead on.
Well, no,
Henceforth.
so this is probably because DF updated it recently. I wanted Malice to be red like it was before, but even though I've specified a new overlay file, well, I've added the new overlay file, but I couldn't find the GPTP
Where do the
section where it was
cowards lie?
creating the new overlay, so it's probably still old. Yeah, that overlay is looping way too fast. It also gets cleared from the Clarion before it's actually supposed to. Yeah, that overlay should wait until the first one dies before it respawns. But I did test out the damage on it, and it's pretty fucking intense if you have a lot of units around. It's just that the range is way too high right now, so it needs to be nerfed. Probably set to 3. Because 3. Might even need to be 2, though. The box thing is a pretty big deal. Oh, that's the other thing. I set the splash radius of the Savant's energy decay weapon to some...
Receiving headquarters. Let's roll. Receiving headquarters.
It's a little wide.
Not enough energy.
Greetings, command. Commencing.
Oh yeah, you said defensive matrix wouldn't work.
I'm here.
Greetings, command.
Not enough energy.
Anyone visual? Receiving headquarters.
Not enough energy. Not enough energy.
Oh,
Not enough energy.
it's still way too big then.
Let's roll. Call the shot.
Yeah, energy decay has a huge number of issues still,
Not
probably.
enough energy.
Holy, not enough energy. Just give it to me, idiot.
Go ahead, command. Reporting in.
Look at that fucking
ahead,
health
Commander.
decrease. Holy
Attack
moly.
formation. Coordinates received.
It should also be a projectile like
Attack
Maelstrom, but
formation. Roger.
Maelstrom should also be a
Vector locked
projectile,
in.
but you know. It's really not that much that's like a big issue with this one. Synthetic synod. Oh. Don't see anything wrong with this one so far. But yeah, the really big issue was that they were calling for a synthetic cyanide without having an automaton register, so that was an easy way for them to get destroyed. So Clarion stuff is a circle, but it needs to be reduced in range. I have to somehow reduce the range of the Savant. Irelith Ostolith issue is not something I can work around right now, unfortunately. I wonder if it's something related to the override fix that we had for fixing the insane bug with how those units were taken care of, but... this is just the melee Protoss AI. I'm updating it. I don't really need to do that much to update it, as a matter of fact. But mostly just adding stuff to the end of the block will be useful enough, I think. Fleet, cyber. If they're gonna go for that build, then they should probably go for...
Hi, old baby.
Okay, bye! So this build will prioritize more on some basic units, I think. But I should scroll back up and make sure that all these units have... all these other ones have what they need. Oh, I guess that makes sense. There's just the Apostle whenever that gets implemented, yeah. So Shaman and Apostle will be the mid-bay units. Yep. It's already it's already done, like the groundwork is already taken care of for the unit. I have to find a graphic for it, but and I guess we need a tech ID or something for its ability. But the unit itself is, you can spawn it in there. I've even given him a name now. It's permanent. The range will probably have to decrease. I'm not sure about the energy cost, though, because this unit has no other ability, so there's nothing competing for its energy cost. I think it might end up being like just a behavior. You activate it, and maybe there's like a channel time or something associated with it. So it channels for some decent amount of time. I was thinking like anywhere, even like 5 seconds is pretty long, right? So yeah, that's kind of cool. Sort of like the, I think they had that in Starcraft too, but it was much more automated, and I don't even think the unit could die in the, oh, maybe it could, I don't really remember. Alright, this is where we go fucking cuckoo. Oh, yeah. Much more casual friendly, I guess. Now that's what I call epic. Right, yeah. No, that makes sense. I can, oh, you know what? You reminded me of that means I'll add it to the list of things. There you go. Added that. Exalted. Oh yeah, we should make it so that the Nexus actually has has pylon power. Yeah. Well, it's because Hydra has what? 2 base units, and then once the Apostle is in, it will have 2 units per add-on, and there's 3 add-ons. So you can build 8 unique units from the barracks. For the factory, it's a little bit different. You got Vulture and Southpaw, and then you got 2 base units per add-on again, but there's only 2 add-ons. And then I think it's 2 units per add-on on the starport as well. So you can do 8 air units, 6 mech units, and 8 infantry. Makes me want to add 2 more mech units to the game, but I think I'll not do that. That would be asking for it. I really want, once the apostles are in, I actually want the like the Emojins in Deliverance to use that a lot and have them basically like they surround their army with fucking like they've got like 6 or 7 apostles or whatever, and they have like 50 to 100 units like Marines and ghosts and firebats or whatever, and they're just you just see them all pulsing with that overlay that we'll have made at some point for the particular graphic. Like, I kind of want it to be similar to the High Templar glow, but much less noisy and just sort of like flashing with like a green. That could be really fucking cool if you just see this massive army of bio that's flashing with that green shit. I also think if you get revived once, you should be able to be injected again. Like, it should just be a typical unit. So that could be pretty neat. I don't know how it'll work out, but I would have to make an overlay graphic for every organic unit. So, dude, the other thing though is imagine the fucking balls on this AI when they end up having the Zerg allied with them, and you've got Ultralisks that have this fucking behavior. Oh man, that's gonna be epic. They're implemented, but they aren't great. Like they don't have the cone AoE. And the AI won't use it, I don't think. I should add that, I guess. The read is also kind of junk, but... I'm also not really sure why the animation is like that. Wondering if maybe I'm... No? Nether core cost? 25 minerals, 25 gas, 1 supply, 12.5 seconds. It's slightly longer than the Vorvaling, but... oh. The Vorvaling is listed as 25 minerals and 50 gas. That's definitely not correct. Yeah, it's 25 minerals and 0 gas. It deals normal damage. Right now the explosion is... it doesn't damage friendlies. So it's listed as unknown crash. Some people were discussing it in Special Bus earlier. I don't know if they're here to help with the programming side of things, but we do have a couple of people who are older, more grizzled programming veterans who recently joined the server. Eidolon, obviously, but there's a guy who came in yesterday. If he's even here still. Yeah, Siafos. Chia Pet guy. Anyway, I was trying to get over here and figure out where to plug this stuff in. Yeah, I was planning on using that in Deliverance. We'll see what I can figure out. Well, yeah, that's likely, but I think that'll be more of a reflection on my ability to be a project lead. And I don't think that'll be a huge issue. Deliverance has actually been a pretty interesting, like a really good learning experience for me because obviously I'm working with Veeq, right? Who BRB'd for a long time, it looks like. Anyway, I working with Veeq on this stuff, and I've never really had somebody who's willing to just work on stuff and whom I can trust to be capable in the same way that I have had with Veeq. So it's been a really like good learning experience for somebody who like we're both working on the same project. We're here to get shit done. We're both competent. We're both able to do like actually good work and generate a high quality product as a result. But I'm the project lead. I've got to be sure that like not only do I have to make sure that I'm on task, but I also have to provide Veeq with the tools necessary and like I basically have to give him a set of things that I know his skill set will be well suited for, and trust him to get that work done, and also like check in on it every now and then, and like see where he's at, and just gelling into that. I mean, obviously, it's not a purely professional relationship because him and I are friends, but gelling into that kind of environment, that like really reactivating that part of my headspace, I guess, because I haven't done any work collaboratively with people, like directly working together with them where I'm the clear project lead. That sort of happened with iQuare and I guess, with like Toddborn or older Hydra. But even then it was like, he's clearly doing stuff that I couldn't even really fully grasp. Like I can't even at the time I was so far from understanding the programming side of things. So I was of no help. And I didn't really have the full understanding of what was going on. Whereas when anything I ask Veeq to do, I know, roughly speaking, what needs to be done. I have some understanding of what the process is like. So it's more like, in some cases, I'm expertly informed, like writing an AI or making a map or something like that, doing some testing. If I have to ask him to do some voice acting in the future, it'll be like that, like stuff where I have the expertise necessary to make me really capable of understanding what needs to be done there. You don't really have that luxury in other environments, unfortunately. So in the past, I didn't have the luxury of having somebody who I could rely on to be competent, but who would also work in the environment like where I know what they're doing. So like I could rely on iQuare to be competent, I could rely on Nave to be competent, but I didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and I couldn't really help them out or give them direction or anything. I could just say, here's what I would like added, and then I would have to wait for them to come out, just hand me all that stuff, and I wouldn't really be that useful outside of providing clear instructions in the initial standpoint of like, here's what I'm looking for, here's what my use case is. That was useful skill set wise, but it's not really the same thing as what I'm doing now. So I think that this is a nice trial run for that. When we're working on the engine, I'll definitely be putting a lot more effort into like, here's the task sheet, here's what everything needs to happen, here's like just a list of things that need to be done, and you pick what you think you can do, or just wait for me to assign you something, I guess, in some cases. So. The most difficult part of developing the new engine is not knowing what the fuck to do. Okay, so let me elaborate on that, I guess. Yeah, like engine development, I should be sure, like make sure that I'm understanding or I'm understood correctly. Where I'm not trying to say that I'm the badass on the block when it comes to the like programming side, obviously, but I know enough about it now that I can at least give good direction in that sense. So yeah, there are no engines designed for creating RTS games besides like Spring, like we were talking about earlier, and those OpenRA games or whatever. But they're all junk from my experience. We might compare notes or something for their code base, see how they did pathfinding or see how they did AI or something. But aside from getting more perspective, I don't think it'll be useful as an actual environment. The biggest issue or the most challenging part is that we're all here with the intention of creating content. Like while we've all turned into tool devs in some form or another, some more than others. Obviously, iQuare's been working on A's and Veeq's been working on PyMS. So I haven't really done that. I've just done maintenance and I've done the guides and I've done like the education side of things as best I can. And in some cases, I've like written this AI over here that other people are now using in their projects and stuff. So you can say that you can make an argument that we're all in some ways becoming more on the tool dev side of things, or at least that's part of our daily work ethic, right? Our daily pipeline is creating stuff that other people will use as tools to make their own content. we're doing that out of necessity, not because we really want to. If there was already a perfectly good engine out there, we would be jumping on that because we want to use something to then create good content. We just want to create good content. And the limiting factors here are the engine, like the actual programming things that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis with Brood War. Once we skip that, once we make our own, we cut out the middleman in that sense. Either by finding a better engine miraculously or making our own, which seems to be the more likely of the case. That is one of those things that just absolutely needs to be taken care of. Well, I was saying that in Open Brood War, we can use them as like, we can take notes on what they've done and sort of like comparing what they've done to what we were thinking of doing. That's really what I was getting at. So I think the hardest part will be the fact that we are all content developers first and foremost. We all got in here because we wanted to make campaigns or mods or whatever. We want to create content for other people to experience. We want to play that content with other people in the case of like HYDRA and stuff, and multiplayer. We want to do things that are more about content creation, and yet we're forced into tool dev environments so that we can make the content that we want to make. That's going to be the hardest part, because we want to make content, and we can't make content until this fucking development process is at least further along, if not completely over. So pretty, it is pretty frustrating, but it's what we have to do, you know? All right, we're just about done here. So build bool, we'll call it build cyber. Should be cyber. Wait. Icon. Common. Shrine. Altar. Okay. I think we are good to go. Just need to add the various blocks here. Okay. So we did register and stratum, and now we need to do fleet. And in this case, fleet beacon needs celestial shrine. So this would be wait, shrine. 2, 2. And this needs stellar icon. And then we have wait, icon. All right. In front of arbiter, we're gonna need cosmic altar. So this will be wait, altar. Astral omen. Yeah, it's just because Mesk said it and I thought about it and I was like, holy shit. And like the more I thought about it, I was like, holy shit, that'll be great. And then I tested it and then it was great. So we went with it. I feel like it's great. It really is really good, I think. We don't need cybernetics core for Citadel, we need Forge. Cybernetics core needs gateway still. Grand library needs. Wow, this is. Whoever did that is a sleepy head. I assume it was me. But it was probably Veeq. Destroyed. So what are we doing here? Grand library. I think we need gateway for Forge now. Grand library needs Templar archives. Right. Icon. All right, here we go. We got to change this to 2. And the same for the omen. Okay. I think we've done it, but I'm sure I will be disappointed when it says that there's a block that doesn't exist. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's actually easy to fix. Never mind. And do we have everything else? Celestial Shrine. Oh. Uh-huh. Okay. I'll just grab Citadel and put it underneath wait sub, and we'll do wait effigy. Cool. Check that out. We've done it, ladies and gentlemen, I think. What? Okay. All right, I will I will return in a moment, BRB. Hi. I return. Okay, so let's give the AI some tests. Ah, I did it again, SMH. I'm sure this will end well. Notably, I have not changed the Terran build orders very much at all. And I probably should. Oh, fuck. Forgot to turn those debug messages off. Hold on, false alarm. Quickly change that. I'll just disable them for now. Save me a little bit of time in the future. Oh, that was the other thing, though. Definitely need higher priorities here. Why? Oh. Well, we haven't fully removed upgrades, obviously. But I do think that that creates some more space for the player to have some sort of customization options. Because upgrades to me are more interesting when they are customization options. It's just that they generally don't end up being that interesting on a... In the cases where you have, like... I don't know. How would I even approach this idea? So, when they're fire and forget, they're really not that interesting, right? I feel like that's kind of clear. And, like, the timing of it, the mechanical and, like, the knowledge barrier and the mechanical ability to successfully create enough structures and workers and all that other stuff so that you can make these upgrade timings happen is pretty impressive at a high level, but not very good in my opinion. Oh my god, I still didn't disable those somehow. Not particularly impressive in my opinion with regards to like it's not the right kind of skill for me that I would want people to have. Like, it smacks too much of something like Starcraft 2, where the game is more... Like, that game is way more about timings in many respects. Like, you have a lot of... Like, it's solved, or it's much closer to being solved than Brood War is. Brood War, people are constantly finding new strategies, it seems like. So, to me, that's something that I would like to see done differently, where it's more about your tech, like the timings or whatever are more about tech paths and things that can be disrupted and taken away from you, as opposed to them being about, you know, just here's my upgrade. I now have upgrades and you don't, so I win or something, you know? It's not something that can ever be taken away from you. Now, theoretically, you could do something like every time you build a certain tech structure, you get upgrades. So you get tier 1 weapon upgrades every time you get a tech structure. But the problem that we would have implementing that in HYDRA is we don't have enough unit IDs to make it so that it would actually be a separate tech structure. And if we just make it so that when you get Engineering Bay, you get Tier 1, and you get a... Or like Academy unlocks Tier 1 infantry, and Dry Dock unlocks Tier 1 ship, and stuff like this. It's just incidental. Like, you're gonna get those structures anyway. You're gonna want to tech up at some point anyway. So, of course, why wouldn't you do something like that? Like, that to me is a bit more worrisome, I guess. Well, I don't know. What do you actually think about this system, Iquare? I mean, I know you were against it from the perspective of, like, you did a lot of work on those upgrades. So, of course, like, you don't want to see them all get deleted or whatever, but I am interested in what you think about it otherwise. Because I think it has led to a more complete understanding of the individual units. Like, when I see a Legionnaire, I know that Legionnaire will allow other Legionnaires to teleport to its target. I don't have to worry about whether or not the player has accessed the right tech level or researched that upgrade. I know that's the behavior of Legionnaire. So, I mean, what I don't like about the Wings of Liberty approach, where they have the armory, and you have this armory thing, and it, you know, on the ship, and it does its thing, you know? Uh-oh, this is bad. This guy has no units. What a clown emoji. I might have to redo the Terran buildings as well. I may have forgotten. Oh, he's building something. He'll be fine. Fuck him up, dude. Oh no! He's got full attack speed on the Zergling. Oh no! If only he had kiting. Wow, he picked 3 different fucking Zergling targets each time with his goddamn unit. What a lunatic. Oh, kiting. Yeah, we can't afford it right now, which is the biggest issue. Hey, I would be down for worker micro if you would want to implement it, yeah. And then a million SCVs just spin. Worker micro, like actually the AI using workers to defend in situations where they have limited or no actual units ready for defense would be great. Oh, I know why that's happening. That's supposed to be the exemplar laser impact. But why? No, I didn't enable kiting yet. Since you said you disabled the system, I could enable it, but my concern with the micro stuff is that it might flood the game with like debug messages, and that would definitely create lag. So like even if there's no messages on screen, if there's any being printed to the log about that stuff, that would definitely create lag. The other thing I'm worried about though is like unit management. So like I'm not sure if a unit that micros back enough is going to get destroyed by the player or whatever. Did you also disable everything that was getting printed in the log? Because the stuff in the log is what I'm worried about. It looks like I'm going to have to modify those build orders anyway, but Like the mech and air build orders are not. I'll just take a look at all of them. It's not that big of a deal. But I do want to figure out why the exemplar laser hit is being used. Okay, we have neutral data disk using this iScript. 1105 is indeed that. The only time it's called is there, so yeah, how is that even getting called? Unless they there's no way that the weapon IDs would be using that, so I didn't even finish setting this up, but so Southpaw's Rainer Vulture. Yeah, it just uses burst lasers. Burst lasers hit, which is 447. It's use remapping, thingy ELB hit. I have ELB Muzz used, but it's not even that, that's just an unused thing. Yeah, I figure the amount of micro should probably be pretty small, like 10 or less. But I'm trying to figure out why any burst laser is creating the
Unit awaiting input. Movement in progress.
yeah, why is that happening?
No problem.
I don't even have ELB hit use, so I don't really see how it could possibly be being overridden. I mean, we have weapon flingy, but that's for Paladin, Madrigal, and Centaur. And it's for the missiles. So, question mark? I'm really confused by that, man. That's really strange. Why did the moms in Flame Knives have cyber dicks? Oh no, that was Ian of the Hawk. So, maybe you can tell me what's going on here, Iquare. So I have exemplar laser, neutral, datadisk.grp. That's what it's pointing to. Well, I think. I mean, it's image ID 395. Hold on. Let me just jump to the flingy and sprites. So I have all of those open. That's what I thought too, but the only weapon flingy that I have in here is it's just for the Centaur, Paladin, and Madrigal. So I'm pretty confused by that. Exemplar laser impact, GRP 1043, iScript ID 456. And here's 456, 57, 58. And the one above it is Network Link 454, 455, Phase Link 456. Well, it really depends. Like, since they're not player controlled, the whole mechanics of the, like, as long as the mechanics are easy for the player to grasp when they're watching them do stuff, like maybe they mine in a different way, but it's kind of obvious. Like, I guess the miners would probably excavate and stuff, so you would see them do that. Like that's something that you could probably just demonstrate by virtue of the player watching it happen, you know? I think you could probably have them all be normal AI, but if their core mechanics are very different, this is something that's way easier to do in our own engine in theory, but if their core mechanics have something to do with that sort of thing, then it's easier to figure out what you would actually be doing there. Oh my god. What a shit. I don't know, I just don't understand why it's spawning an extended entry.
Oh, is that it?
Receiving transmission.
It's literally everything that uses the laser battery.
Standing by. Roger.
It's acting as if this graphic has been replaced in the animation for burst lasers. Like, it's acting as if I'm imgalling 1054 or whatever it is instead of 447. And yet when I look at 447 in images DAT, there's nothing about it that's different. It's use remapping, OFire PCX, points to ELB hit in thingy. If I go to unit thingy, there is no ELB hit. I mean, did I actually import one or something? No, there's no file called unit thingy elb hit.grp. So really strange shit. Never seen that one before. It uses iScript ID 294. Which is right here. Like, the only reason I replaced the data disk image entry here, which is the only time we have an imgal call for 1105. The only reason I even did that was because it was, because I am out of flingies, and I wanted the exemplar's weapon to be implemented. But what entry is this? Oh, well, that would be why. Oh, what a dummy. Data disk. I replaced the ID in here like an idiot. Wowie. Sleepy copy and pastes, baby. You gotta love them. Well, anyway, now I can actually implement that. So if I go to the exemplar's weapon, I can set their graphics to... What's the thingy for data disk is 129. And then I can copy that. $290. This is 422.218. And it's going to use B-Fire. Oh no, B-Explore. Yeah, save. Now we can take the actual file that I kept thinking it was actually using, which is thingy elb fire. I assume so. Take this. All right. So that should fix that.
Contact.
There you go.
Locus acknowledged.
The only thing there is that there's probably like launch spin or something fucking up with the weapon, so. Yeah, launch spin 0, 16. And 12 is probably fine. Yeah, they were actually always supposed to have 6 range by default, so...
Awaiting command.
Exemplar...
Awaiting command. Chaos. Locus acknowledged. It will be done. Locus acknowledged. Chaos. It will be done. Locus acknowledged.
Check out my range, dude.
Awaiting command. Chaos. Locus acknowledged.
Good day, Commander.
So God.
Alright. Very nice, very nice. We fixed up the exemplars. Did all sorts of other exciting things. Mm-hmm. All right, so we have to take care of the Terran build orders now. Make sure that we've given them everything they need. Although, Veeq asked me to add some stuff here. What's up, Balathol? How you doing? Yeah, so far it's pretty hilarious. Some insane one-liners. But it doesn't really let you play the game for very long, which is pretty unfortunate. But yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Spent some time with the messing around with the AI. The little simulation challenges that they have in that game are the most game-like part about it, and even then it's not particularly epic, shall we say. Yeah, you can actually do that in the Batman game too, but it's like there has not been a challenge in the gameplay. You know what I mean? Like there's challenge the challenge is to be patient in the other parts of the game. Like the movie parts and the stealth parts. These actually look done properly, so I wonder why. In fact, yeah, this is why I'm so confused by this. These are all fine, I think. I have not done that yet. I'm still messing around with these builds. Man, those fucking bio ones are gonna be annoying to deal with. Uh-huh. You know, the classic queuing a vehicle weapon before you have an armory. Thinking emoji. This is a tank timing build. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, it looks like actually most of this stuff, besides some dumb mistakes like that, should play out exactly like the Protoss updates, where I just updated the ending block. So this is a mech fast expand, where we go factory into armory, into engineering bay. Yeah, this looks good so far. I would probably move that up there. Reduce the weights here. Oh, actually, a control tower is better now that I think about it. Since it's getting late for you, I will look into that script now, though. What did you want me to look at in here? You said you haven't worked on attack waves. Now, this is for your secondary, your minor faction, right? Minor faction, by the way. Stingray. Kind of hard to read your scripts. Ah, you attack. Wonder where I recognize you attack. So is there like a problem with this particular one? It's pretty cool that you ended up having I mean the biggest issue is like making sure that the moles that you're targeting don't have some other issues, like they aren't in the middle of doing something important, I guess, but speed of taking expansions. Okay. We've got pretty lengthy waits in between. Like I said earlier, though, I think if you just drop this to like 300 or 275 or something like that, I would experiment with different lower values for the weights before you create the request. The problem then is that you'll have one idle worker until the AI has enough money. but it will guarantee that they wait. Assuming that if I go to EXP1, right? Yeah, you've got the town hall at 1:30, so the priority should be fine. As long as the priority of that is fine, then you get into a situation where you have like, like a higher priority than anything else request. They'll save the money for that, then spend it on that, and then they'll expand. So that should significantly increase their speed for upgrading. So that's what I would do. I would play around with that idea for now. Two-fact vault. This is the only one that doesn't actually need an engineering bay, and yet it gets the engineering bay faster than I've ever seen anybody else get an engineering bay, so it's pretty incredible. And they can just get these vultures way sooner, too. Okay. I don't really see any immediate issues with that. I think the starport ones are probably going to be the most messy, if I had to guess. Yeah, I guess you'll have to have some sort of system that works like the default place guard command, but for place morphs, where instead of coordinates, you can specify like near town center, near production structure, near mineral field, near gas, something like that. Okay. I haven't seen really any issues with the BIOS stuff besides that the uprising does not actually work as I would like it to. It spams firebats more than anything, but that's easily fixable, I think. Okay. So we have here support Wraith. Oh, we don't get an engineering bay. We ordered the science facility before the engineering bay as well over here. Such lunacy. Okay. I guess I could really heavily buff Yamato Gun and then make it require the Quantum Institute, but not sure about that one. Okay, now we have air racks. Okay. Yeah, these really were a mess. So I'm glad I went over them and fixed them up. Uh, yeah, that was a mess too. But it's a mess that's been fixed. I wonder if it'll even work with siege tanks or Goliaths. Oh. Okay. I think I got everything. Nice. All right, time to see just how intense this gets. Well, so much for disabling those debug messages. Oh wait, I might actually not have the latest days, so it might be on me. Yeah. All right, let's try saving this and. Of course, there were 3 debug messages. see what they got. He may have ran back from a different unit. Where's his other vultures, bro? There we go. That was pretty humorous. The problem is they will kite backwards even if they are successfully attacking. Like, even if the unit is nowhere near them, it seems. So, I don't know about that one. Oh, maybe not. I missed the action over there. These guys already hit level 2. Tier 2, in that case, I think he just bugged or something. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, the Dragoons don't seem to be doing it. Maybe they're just broken. I don't know. I guess they just don't at all. Uh-oh. We got Southpaws. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, man. Dude, this AI is spinning. Nope. I like the Mutalisk spin. It just cuts its DPS in half. He's almost microing it correctly, it's just that he's an idiot. That's pretty funny. I mean, they're not flying back is the problem. Also, at some point, it seems like the AI just gives up with certain units and they stop using them entirely. Which is a little strange. If you like Legionnaires, bro. Kite this, idiot. Oh! Holy. Can't kite the Legion AI, dude. Oh, okay. Oh, oh, what? Hey! He's lost his mind. Destroyed. Dude, these Legionnaires are something else, man. Oh! Got an Ace Panic from LibRS. That entry's ID. That could have been anything. Looking at the mini-map, I don't actually see any conflict anywhere other than here. So let's trace this back here. Flags to an egg, by the way. Cues, frame hook. Oh. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully iQuery is still around and he reads that before going to bed so that we can maybe get to the bottom of that. Otherwise, I'll be doing some final tweaks generally. And we will see where we can go after that. Obviously, Fraud Night is scheduled to start in about an hour. So I'll be back around then. And we shall see what happens. For now, it's lunchtime and I'll take a walk and all that shit. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. And once again, thanks for accompanying me on my 300th stream in a row. Bye.